Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to go through all the books I read in the months of July, August and September. I didn't actually get through everything that I wanted to because I was traveling. You can see my video up here somewhere. I went to the UK and Estonia and had a fantastic time. I was there because my mother was going there for the last time. She's in her 90s, so I took the opportunity to go and visit Estonia and see some of my relatives, and Tallinn is just absolutely beautiful. Again, check out the video I've posted up there. Now, what did I actually get through? Well, the first thing I finished, which was a carryover from the last quarter, is The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. This is book 4 of The Wheel of Time. And it's true what people say. This is really where I think The Wheel of Time becomes more of its own thing. The first book is very kind of Lord of the Rings inspired. This one is very much, yes, you're starting to see a lot of the kind of bigger world. And there's a whole sequence where they go to Tel'aran'rhiod. Rhiod. Is it Tel'aran'rhiod? Rhiod? There's this whole sequence where they're in the Aiel Waste. Oh, is that spoilers? I'll edit that out. There's this whole sequence where you get to see some of the history of the world, and that is really interesting. They had that in season 3 of the TV show as well. I think that's a very cool part of the whole story. So that's book 4 done of The Wheel of Time. The next book I read was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I was really looking forward to reading this one, and it did not disappoint. The trailer just came out recently for the movie, and I avoided watching it because I knew there was a spoiler in it. So I have gone ahead and read the book, and now I've seen the trailer, and yes, it definitely is a big spoiler in the trailer. But yeah, I really love this. Is it better than The Martian? Actually, I still prefer The Martian to this one. There was a bit of a drag in the middle of this, I felt, but still a fantastic book. So that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Next up, I read a book called The Immortal Investigation, which is part of the series called The Immortal Investigations by Michael Cronk. He is a booktuber. I'll put a link to his book channel up here. He does these great analyses of series. This is his first foray. He has actually written more books but didn't publish them. This is his first published work that he did as a Kickstarter, and he actually did 3 books. And now I realize I didn't actually tell you what the other 2 books were about, but I think everyone knows what they're about. This one is a bit of the kind of, shall we say, vampire, kind of urban fantasy. There's a bit of romantasy in there as well. And I think it's a very good first effort. It is very readable, quite quick, action heavy, 350 pages, and I feel like the last 150 pages is just full on action. So this was a pleasant surprise because I have read other books that people have sent to me. This was sent to me by Michael, full disclaimer, but thankfully it was a good book. I'm continuing my read-through of How to Train Your Dragon. This is book number 6, A Hero's Guide to Deadly Dragons by Cressida Cowell. In this one, there is a public library that is not open to the public. It's quite funny. Yep. What more can I say about these? They're just light fun. Next up, wow, this is a behemoth. I read Berserker. Now, this is Berserker, not Berserk. So, not that other thing. This is Berserker by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint. Yes, Keanu Reeves. And yes, there is a book out by Keanu Reeves and China Miéville, which is set in the same universe. That's a novel. This is a graphic novel. This is the deluxe collected edition, all 12 issues. I borrowed this from a friend. Thanks, Andrew. This was good. It was okay. It had a good concept, but it just kind of dragged out. And it is very violent, like extremely violent. But it is cartoonish. I'd hate to think what this would look like if they did it as a movie. As a comic, it's just like, blood and guts everywhere. But, the images, although they're violent, they're kind of abstract. What is the concept? It's this guy that's basically an immortal. He's been living for like 80,000 years, and so he's seen a bunch of things, but there's certain aspects to his character that mean he's always ultra-violent. And so it kind of comes to a head in him trying to deal with this aspect of himself. I'll try and zoom in on this. The artwork is pretty nice, and they do some clever things with it. But on the whole, it was just okay. Next up, I finished Five Go Down to the Sea. This is book number 12 of The Famous Five by Enid Blyton. I've got this other copy here as well with this bit rubbish cover, really. Anyway, the cool thing about this one is it's written in 1953, and that was the year that the Queen Elizabeth II, was coronated. And at one point in the book, they actually sing God Save the Queen, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, this in this one, the five go down to Cornwall and have all sorts of hijinks, and it's just a cool Famous Five novel. After that, I continued with my reading of Finding Fantasy. This is book number 5, City of Thieves, and this was a very good entry. This one is by Ian Livingstone, and it had everything you want in a Finding Fantasy. So I will have full reviews of all these books. I'm a bit behind in my Fighting Fantasy. I've just recorded the second book video, so I will have that out fairly soon. It'll be a while before I get to this one, but watch out. Now, next up, I finished Live No Lies by John Marcoma. He is a Christian author. He wrote a couple of other books. The most famous is probably Practicing the Way and The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which I have not read. I've read Practicing the Way. That was very good. So obviously I read non-fiction books, and when I finish them, I finish them. I don't put them in my TBRs because sometimes it takes me a while to finish them. And this was fantastic. This is basically talking about 3 different concepts. One is fighting against deceptive ideas. That was one thing. Then there's dealing with disordered desires. So yes, we are free in a lot of ways in our society to do whatever we want, but that is not necessarily helpful. So I am free to eat lollies all day, but is that beneficial to me? Well, no, I'm going to feel like total crap at the end of the day. So some things are open to us to do, but not necessarily beneficial. So it talks about that. And then it also talks about the fact that the society we in normalizes sinful behavior. So how do you deal with that? Anyway, that was an excellent book. So highly recommend that. The last book I finished in September is The Lost Road and Other Writings by Tolkien. This is book number 5 in the history of Middle-earth. And this one is really interesting because it's got Tolkien's time travel story. He and Lewis had this agreement that one of them would do a space-based story and one of them would do a time travel-based story, and Lewis went on to do his space trilogy and Tolkien got to do his time travel, but he never finished it. But it does fit in with all his other Middle-earth stuff, so that was very interesting to read. This also has a whole bunch of language stuff in it, which can be a bit tedious, but is also interesting in certain respects. So I will have full reviews, as I've said, of all this stuff, and I'll go into more detail on that. Now, I had 3 other things on my TBR which I did not get to or not finish. One was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I've actually got about 150 pages left of this and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So obviously this is part of his Cosmere and I will be finishing that very shortly. Another one I am currently in the middle of is The Lost Worlds of 2001 by Arthur C. Clarke. It's kind of both a journal and a look back at the development of both the 2001 movie and the novelization of the movie and how that was all developed. It's very interesting. I'm currently about a third of the way through that. And I did say I'd be reading Lyra's Oxford by Philip Pullman, but I haven't even started that one. So that will be on my TBR for the next 3 months. And I will be posting that video shortly. But let's rank all these because I haven't told you what score I gave them. So I'll just rearrange these. Get rid of those because I haven't finished those. Alright, I've got these in order and it was a really good quarter because I didn't have anything less than a 3.5 star. So first of all, I had Berserker, that was a 3.5 star. It was good, but just a bit draggy in parts. Then we have The Immortal Investigation by Michael Cronk, so I give this 3.5 stars as well, which is a really good score for someone's first novel. Then we go to the 4 stars, How to Train Your Dragon 6. That was a good one. 5 Go Down to the Sea, another good entry in Famous Five. The Lost Road and Other Writings by Tolkien, that was definitely a very interesting entry in the history of Middle-earth. Then Live No Lies by John Marcoma, another 4 star. And then we get into, is it? Yes, Then we get into 4.5 stars. There are no 5 stars, so all these are 4.5 stars. City of Thieves, Fighting Fantasy number 5. A really good Fighting Fantasy entry. Project Hail Mary, 4.5 stars. I gave Martian 5. So that tells you I do enjoy both of them, but The Martian for me, I think was just the better book. Which means my book of the quarter is The Shadow Rising, book 4 of The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, and really keen to get on to book number 5. So that's everything I read in the months of July, August and September. Tell me, have you read any of these? I'd love to hear your comments. What do you think about Project Hail Mary versus Martian? Because a lot of people think that Project Hail Mary is the better book. I think The Martian, for me, is the better book. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next video, which is my TBR for the next 3 months. Everything I plan to read for the rest of 2025, and I'll see you there.